Namaskaram and welcome to the Swadhyaya special literary program Face to Face with the Author. Today we have Dr. Chittarvu Madhu garu, who is not only a well-known doctor but also is a very famous science fiction writer. He has been writing science fiction like he was born to write science fiction. Even though in Telugu we do not have much encouragement for writing science fiction, he has been at it for the past 30 to 40 years, irrespective of the admiration or the followers or the encouragement and also discouragement from many eminent people. He has been continuing to write science fiction of the highest order, and the quality of science fiction written by Chittarvu Madhu is on par with any of the internationally acclaimed contemporary science fiction stories. And we are privileged today to have him with us to discuss about his latest book, which is incidentally written in English. So the first question that we will be asking Dr. Chittarvu Madhu is, why switch to English? He is a well-established Telugu author who has got a lot of stories and novels to his credit. In fact, he is the only Telugu science fiction writer to have written a trilogy in Telugu. So let us ask him, like Dr. Chittarvu Madhu garu, why you switched on to English?
Yes, sir. First of all, namaste and greetings to all. Why I switched to English means I have been writing in English also last 10 years ago. First science fiction novels were published in 1990s. They were medical thrillers. Later, some people suggest me, why don't you write in English so that the novels will become popular all over India. So at that time, I wrote a trilogy basing on Mars, a space opera type of trilogy, where the story is going around two empires fighting for the control of the solar system. That is called the War for Mars trilogy. At that time, I have written. Since then, I have translated these books in Telugu, and also I have published in Telugu language at least 40 stories based on science fiction on various topics. The problem is the recognition for Telugu writers in general, science fiction writers in particular, has been lacking when we are confining ourselves to Telugu only. That's why I thought I can write again in English, so that when we go to the conferences, literature festivals in India, out of state, we can introduce ourselves as a writer in English also, so that they can understand and follow our themes and our style of writing, etc. And we can get some recognition at the All India stage. That was the basic idea. Because when I have seen at the literary festival in Vellore, I have found most of the writers, except a few, were writing in English. And those writers who were writing in English, they were more popular and more recognized. Those writers who were writing in regional languages still were popular, but nobody was knowing about the content, what they are writing. So this time, because the current hot topic in science fiction is about artificial intelligence and robots, I decided to write a novel on artificial intelligence, and it is called The Last City After the AI Apocalypse.
LOST or LAST?
LAST, The Last City, Akhari Nagaram. This I started in last July or August, and I could finish it within 3 to 4 months, and editing for 3 months. And I have taken the help of AI, and I have published it on Amazon platform. And the only thing satisfactory for me is I did not spend any money for this. This is a completely self-published book, and it is now released on Amazon platform as an ebook and also as a paperback, available all over the world in various platforms.
And how has been the response?
The response has been good. I have got some 1 or 2 good reviews, and I am requesting people of our Telugu origin also to read these books, and we must hope for the best. The more people should read it, and more people should give a feedback.
Does publishing in Amazon entitle you for any sort of publicity? Like Amazon will it do the publicity or has it to be done?
Amazon will give some sponsorship, like it will put you on the platforms like UK, US, and all Australia, Germany, Japan, etc. And but you can have some deals like countdown deals. You can reduce the price in the beginning. Sometimes you can give free promotion, uh, but sometimes there are advertisements which are to be paid, like a dollar for a day, like that. Now I have given no promotion at all, only after some time. So my 7 books are there on Amazon platform in English, and the problem is self promotion and marketing. Still, we writers have to learn, and we must make them popular.
This brings us to one important question. Like you are a new writer to English. Like
Yes.
in Telugu, you are famous and you are well known.
Yeah.
But in English, it's a big, vast ocean. In that vast ocean, we are now just entering.
Yes, sir.
So, how do you find yourself in English literature?
Yeah.
Like it's all over the world. Science fiction is well known in America
Yeah.
and other countries. So, how do you place your book in the big pantheon of English science fiction writers?
That is a very valid point, because in English, science fiction writings or science fiction novels are like an ocean. There are thousands of books. There are dozens of science fiction and fantasy groups are there, and we are only a speck in the grand scheme of the novels, but still it is popular. But if you confine it to the local Asia, Southeast Asia, then India, then come to Andhra Pradesh, I will be the only one. So that way, it will give me some recognition to write in English a science fiction book. That is one thing. And when we compare to the other writers, I thought my style of English is quite okay. Second thing is, the others are writing, other country people, especially US and UK, they are writing in their surroundings. So why should an alien land in Arizona itself? Why should an alien land in New York? Why should a creature come and attack Japan only? It can as well come in India also. So there are very few books with science fiction or aliens or whatever, which are having Indian background. So my book, The Last City, completely with Indian characters, and it talks about India in the future, 2041, where India is much developed. The artificial defense, automatic defense systems are developed, and by a mistake of the calculation and a dispute between the Prime Minister and the Army General, there is a nuclear catastrophe. Within minutes, without anybody's knowledge, there are mutual attacks by automatic missile systems. Nobody knows from where it has come, but the whole country and most of the world is destroyed. And it is a dystopian after nuclear situation. So this is unique to our Indian continent, Indian conditions. That's why I think my book could have a place in the overall scheme of things, because there will be few books which are written in the Indian surroundings like New Delhi or Hyderabad. If you care to read the book, the New Delhi is destroyed, and I have described the aftermath of the nuclear destruction. And the Prime Minister's daughter is in a forest. She escapes the catastrophe, but the Prime Minister escapes, and they have to go back and defeat the general. And then there will be a long trek or travel to the south, where it is relatively safe. And the last city they have to construct. And what is the last city? The last city is not New Delhi, it is Hyderabad.
Oh,
that is my idea. The last city where Vikram Rao, the Prime Minister of the country in this novel, he goes and hides, and a Chief Minister Reddy helps him, and his daughter finally finds him. And they, in a devastated atmosphere where there is no agriculture. The nuclear catastrophe will damage the water supplies, black water, acid rains, and there is no agriculture, nothing. So in such circumstances, again they have to rebuild. So what are the possible alternatives to rebuild the devastated country? That is also, I have taken input from the AI, like growing the nutritional crops like algae, and cleaning the water, getting solar energy, and finally again trying to go back to the interplanetary travel, so that they can settle in some other places, because the circulating orbital stations are still intact. So they are trying to do this. One thing is resilience and rebuilding. That is rebuilding and reconstruction of a devastated land, and at the same time exploration of the outer space so that they can find another planet, because the planet is destroyed beyond repair, and there is not much scope of survival for in the long run. So in this setup, I think when you come for the from the world view to the Asian view to the Indian view, maybe I am one of the few writers who has taken this. That was my plan. At least some people will recognize this and read this.
Now, actually, while you are narrating the story, a question cropped up in my mind. Like, if there is a nuclear attack in Delhi, how would Hyderabad survive?
Yeah, Hyderabad also will not survive, because it is like a chain reaction. In this circumstance, I will tell about the artificial intelligence. The artificial intelligence is not artificial. It is defined as the intelligence by machines as compared to the intelligence of animals and humans. That is the definition. So the machines have become intelligent. Already we are using it, the artificial intelligence, by computers and robots, etc. They are having what is called machine learning or deep learning and big data. Big data means you are having a hundreds of books or hundreds of textbooks or novels or books, and this computer has the ability to take from it and give you a text. This is called natural language processing, or large language models. These things have been invented in the last 2 years, and big companies like ChatGPT, etc., they are marketing this. Like, if you are asking one theme, within 1 minute it will give you the story. It will give you a diagram also for that story. Like, I asked the co-pilot, please tell me how they will travel. How will a devastated India look like? It will give a diagram of the villagers in India, and they are traveling on the roads like this. So this is only machine learning. The machine is learning from the huge data of the accumulated over the years, and at the same time, this AI is penetrating medicine, agriculture, and defense also. So many countries now, we are seeing there are 3-4 wars going on. Many countries would like to take over the AI in their defense systems. Suppose if they are not alert and an attack is taking place on them, the AI can immediately launch a counter attack. Such systems are very dangerous. That is mutually assured destruction, MAD, or lethal automatic weapon system. Laws, it is called lethal automatic weapon system. So all the countries are, the UNO, etc., they are trying to ban this, because the advantages are there, the disadvantages are. The advantages are there even when you are not alert. It will recognize a missile attack from your enemy country. For example, in our case, maybe China, maybe Pakistan, in America case. So it will immediately counter attack and destroy it. So how it will find out that attack is taking place? There are sensors, heat sensors or image sensors, which drones which take the fire which is coming, and it will assess and will take a, but sometimes what you call is a supervision must be there. Supervised learning or supervision must be there. In this story, there is no supervision, or there is something happened. Nobody knows actually what is happened. But in this story, the Prime Minister himself thinks that he is getting a false alarm to prevent the general to occupy his throne. So whatever it is, the artificial system, when it is attacking another country, that artificial system again attacking. Again another country is attacking another country. There is a chain reaction of attacks, and all the countries are destroyed. And also Hyderabad to some extent, and most of the India is also to some extent destroyed because of the radiation. So for this I had to study with the help of the artificial intelligence what happened in Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and now what will happen. There is a huge explosion, and there is radiation for miles together, and the trees will become dark, and water will become infested with radiation. Nobody can drink the water also, and everything will be destroyed. So Hyderabad is also to some extent destroyed, but it's somewhat better. So bunkers you have to stay. There is always some defense, but there are underground bunkers. Also, when you go out, you have to wear radiation suits. And somebody is having a radiation sickness, you have to give treatment by washing him. So all these things are coming. This is like a situation when we had the COVID pandemic recently. It really happened. We don't know where from it has come, but everybody was hiding indoors. So some such system I imagine, and the Hyderabad city is relatively better. And he, because the Prime Minister, he being a friend of Hyderabad Chief Minister, he runs there to escape the attack, and he hides in a bunker there. In the final scene, their daughter joins the father, and they have plans to construct the uh, whole country from there, starting from nutrition, water, agriculture, etc.
And how did you feel writing along with taking inputs from the AI?
Yes, generally when we are writing a science fiction novel, we cannot just bluff and anybody. We previously we are going to libraries and reading books, and now we are until recently we are having Google Scholar or Google Search or other things. Now the same thing is coming in Copilot, Bing or Gemini, such systems, and when we are having an idea, a plan of the story, it will tell you the outline of the story. It is not writing the story. It is telling you the ideas, various options. How it is getting the ideas, I don't know, but they are fantastic because it is taking the material from the accumulated intelligence of so many people, so many novels. You can read only one this much in your lifetime, but these AI machines, for example, Copilot, from which I have taken, they are having access to millions of people's knowledge, millions of books, which a single person can never take. So it is giving me three options, and it is giving me the characters' names, Indian characters' names. If I ask, you write like this, but it is leaving the option to you only to how to develop the story. And I asked it, can I use this material? Is there any copyright? It said there is no copyright for this material. You can use O writer, let your imagination flow. These are the words that the AI uses. Let your imagination flow and cross the frontiers. And if you are having any more questions also, I am ready to ask. So you can fully, everywhere there are options, various options, and mostly it will give you the correct options and also gives the references. You can refer the concerned material, how to rebuild a country by nutrition, by agriculture. For example, I asked about algae. Is it possible to grow algae? Yes, she said. That is a very correct idea you are having. Algae can be grown because all the trees are not there. Rice paddy cannot be cultivated. But energy for algae can be, you have to imagine from the solar energy. And the water purification plants, such things it has given me, but I have made some of my own adjustments and wrote. So.
But being a science fiction writer, do you foresee a future in which AIs take over humans?
Yeah, when we discuss this in medical forums as well as literary forums, even in the last literary fest, most of the writers as well as the doctors, they don't agree. They don't agree that the AI will take over our minds or it will rule one day. But I personally feel it is growing very fast. As I explained just now, I could write a novel within 3 months with my poor skills of computing and typing, etc., etc. But a person with a good skills, he can finish it off still better with the ideas AI can give, and AI can itself write a story. It may make a video, it may make a film also on topics which he can. That's why the writers were on strike in Hollywood because they were threatened by the AIs. So until supervision is there, until supervision and some sort of control are there, it could definitely take over. And also in the machine learning, there is what is called deep learning. Finally, the machines they will collide with each other. They will cooperate with each other. The machine which is controlling agriculture, the machine which is controlling defense, the machine which is controlling stock market, the IAS system which is controlling the government. All these things they may fuse and they may have their own decision making. That is possible scenario.
Very scary.
That's scary. But one gentleman like you, one chairman in that conference asked me, why are you always science fiction writers writing always a bleak side of the AI? There is also a flip side, the advantageous side also. That means we can do things faster and there are so many things. The AI in the form of robots can help the sick people. Now, drug discovery, vaccine discovery. And previously, if you understand, to get a vaccine for tuberculosis, it took 100 years for human being. You have to take the bacteria, analyze the structure 100 times, and again make a vaccine. But with the help of AI, within 1 year, maybe still less, you can analyze the genome of the virus in a 3D structure of the virus. Then you take the piece of the genome and hundreds of drugs you can check whether it will fit into the genome, and within a jiffy, not jiffy, at least within a very much less time, you can make a vaccine or a drug. So in drug discovery, vaccine discovery, the mRNA vaccine was made by artificial intelligence. That is the advantageous side of it. And also the hospital's control. You are already having the watches which monitor your blood pressure, heart rate, pulse rate, etc. So for diabetes treatment, also your blood sugar and insulin can be adjusted. In health sector and also in agriculture, with the drones, you can spray pesticides, etc., and you can predict the weather patterns and adjust the things accordingly, adjust the agriculture accordingly. But the disadvantage side is machines taking over is one, and loss of jobs is another thing. The human jobs will be lost, so that is another worry. And also such accidents where the whole earth will be. That is, of course, science fiction, dystopian imagination.
So now that we have discussed about Last City, are there any plans in translating it into Telugu and publishing?
Yeah, I can translate it, but it is a time-taking procedure. And as it is, I have published two science fiction anthologies for which the response was moderate. So definitely I will do it, because there is a lot of information in this 156-page book, which will be very useful in Telugu also. I could do it if time permits. I could do it, and depending on the response for this book.
And you have already translated or written originally into English and then translated to Telugu, like Dark Outpost and The Blue and Green Return to Earth. How is the response for those books in English?
In English, I must say, confess, it is these books are these three book trilogy are a few of the thousands of science fiction books. But I have seen in the website my book is one of the 150 books on Mars in the world. Everybody every science fiction writer starts first about Mars. So out of the 150 or 200 books, and I was happy to see that my book is listed like that. Then there are still fans for me. There were fans, boys, especially adolescents. There are fans in Telugu speaking like Karim Nagar. People used to phone me. Even now, my books are available in Calcutta, where all libraries, Sampark Published, they made available. Even now, I have got a student fans there, and they are very much interested in my War for Mars trilogy, and they appreciate the. One girl keeps writing to me letters about the further novels, etc. It is possible. I cannot tell about financial aspect, but popularity in India I got to some extent, and I got some recognition in the All India stage because it happens to be in English. So in Telugu also the response was lukewarm. Even though I was recognized, many people were reading this Kujudi Kosam and other Neeli Octopus I have written. The core concept, of course, maybe I could not take it to the people well, but adolescent readers, especially the younger readers who are reading, I got good appreciation from them in Telugu also.
And when we were talking in the earlier stage, you mentioned that some of the local language science fiction writers have also got recognition.
Yeah.
But in Telugu, we have no process of recognizing or any procedure to assess a science fiction writer. And so, as a Telugu writer, when you went onto a platform and you see some vernacular science fiction writers being recognized and given prominence, why do you think is the reason, and how do you feel?
Yes, especially I have seen in the literary platforms writers from Tamil, writers from Malayalam, writers from Marathi, Kannada. There are science fiction writers. And it is not as if it is not sold. It is not commercially feasible. One Mr. Era Natarasan, he is a retired working headmaster, senior and he has written a book called Ayesha, which is a very small book, and it has sold million copies and translated to 13 languages. I could not read it because it is, except in English, in all other Scandinavian languages also it is translated. So these people are treated like heroes there, and also most of the people, I mean critics or writers in India, still they talk about Satyajit Ray. That's only who is the science fiction writer in English. Satyajit Ray has written some stories, but that is passé, that is over. And they talk about Narlikar. These things are over. Their era was different, and there were many writers who were writing in English language. Like in also in Kannada also, they have written science fiction, and Marathi also they are writing more. And if you see the top 100 science fiction writing authors, the number one man is from Maharashtra, Pune. I have seen one writer. I have just seen. I compare. I would like to compare myself where I am. Suppose my book is in the thousandth place now. It is the number one is Kavache. But actually speaking, the critically you cannot say it is a science fiction because it is mixed with mythology. Kavach means a missile system which is covering India, and it is from the ancient days when the Lord Shiva has made some weapon, something like. So the basic quality of Indian science fiction is mixing mythology into science fiction, and why not? We can do that when they are doing it in their own way, like with their Roman gods and Greek gods. That is, they are more popular. Like Amish Tripathi, Shiva trilogy. So millions copies he has sold about Shiva, and he says Amurti is actually a medicine which was being made by these Devata, these angels and all these people. Like that, innovation is there. In Indian science fiction, other people have done this, but sadly in Telugu we could not do it. In Telugu, unless somebody is telling us, and I myself am talking about it in international forums, they were not recognized. Myself and Mr. Kasturi, Murali Krishna and Salim, we have written, and that's that. So it is necessary that we translate it to English and also see that the literary supplements like The Hindu and Deccan Chronicle and other The Week, etc., they review our books so that people can have access to it, rather than writing about Korean authors or Japanese authors or English authors, which is fashionable. They must give us prominence. That's what I sincerely believe. And they can say always the quality is poor. They can criticize always the quality, but ignorance is more hurting than criticism.
Yes. So ignoring a writer is the worst form of punishment.
Yes.
So thank you, Chittarvu Madhu garu. You have done wonders with science fiction in Telugu, and now you have entered into the field of English also. So hopefully you will get the recognition that is due to you, at least from English, so that our Telugu people will recognize your worth and then start discussing your literature. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste.